I got real tired of spending my days working at a card table as my desk, so I finally decided that I needed a real one. But in today's economy, the way I saw it, I had four options: overpay a little bit for a mediocre desk, overpay a lot for a decent desk, take out a second mortgage and sell my car for a nice desk, or just build one myself. Since I already had the tools and I scored a stupid good deal on these slabs, the only thing it was really going to cost me was time. And what else was I going to do with that time? Sit around, snack, watch TV? Look at me. I'm already too fat to let that happen. So I buckled down and I got to work. If this desk was going to be worth anything, my stock had to be square and machined to a uniform thickness. So I ran everything across the joiner and cleaned it up on the CNC and figured I was set. To make sure nothing went sideways, I decided to cut my router templates using the CNC. I cut it into some 3/4 inch melamine drops that came from my resin tables. The CNC gives me perfect shape every single time, and the melamine lets the router glide across it like an air hockey puck. Up next was tuning this dinosaur, the radial arm saw. Once the blade was dead square, both horizontally and vertically, I cut my stock to length and roughed in the mortises and tenons so the router wouldn't have to work so hard. With everything cut to length and roughed in, I dropped the sticks into the template and brought the joints to their final shape. Finally, after all that work, everything was coming together. I was ready to finally see the legs that I had been planning and envisioning for so long. I was so excited. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't anymore. I was certain that first one was just a fluke. The second one had to be better. Nope, even worse. So what was I supposed to do here? Start over? Not a chance. Instead, I came up with a new plan. Cut off the tenons, open up the mortises, and shape some black walnut splines to lock everything together. And if anyone asked, I could always pretend that was the plan all along. But now you're in on it, so you'd better not tell. What's woodworking without a slip chisel and a little blood? I always have to remind myself, cut towards your buddy, never towards your body. This might have been the hardest part of the whole project. Cutting the mortises into the ends of these boards had me rethinking my life, my hobbies, and whether I needed to pick up a new religion just to get through it. We all have that internal struggle. We ask ourselves every day, should I just get rid of that scrap wood? And we think to ourselves, no, I might use it someday. Well, I'm here to tell you that I finally found that someday. Next were the mounting brackets. I didn't want any anti-racking support beams, so the brackets had to hold up to the test. I went with 3/16 2x2 angle iron to add some serious rigidity to the piece. That, and I already had some laying around. Now for the most stressful part of the entire build, cutting the bracket insets into the legs. It wasn't the hardest step, but after fixing one mistake already, I didn't exactly have the emotional budget for another one. Now for the fun part, adding the finish. I used Rubio Monocoat 2C Pure to bring out the character of the elm and to make those walnut splines pop. This is the moment where the legs finally start to look alive. Just a little bit of struggling to drill holes in the brackets and they were ready to go. Finally, everything came together. The feet sat perfectly flat, no wobble, the legs were solid enough that I could sit on the desktop, and I was finally ready to sit at my new workstation. And those walnut splines? I'm really glad I went that direction. What do you think? Did I make the right call? Let me know.